Hello, everybody. It's Andrew Cardwell again. I'm going to be doing the daily 5 here on StockCharts, but I want to go through everybody's talk about interest rates, inflation, and everything else. A couple of things I want to look at. And I'm starting here with the 10-year yield. A lot of people watch the 10-year. Some watch 20, but I prefer the 10. And the thing you can see first off, if you're familiar at all with my work, is this RSI chart in the middle has pretty much stayed below 60 for a while, which is in the downtrend, saying the downtrend is continuing. We recently got as low as about 127. Now, back when this was up in the 150s and 160s, the RSI could not get back above 60. So my range rules are pretty much still intact. And I'm expecting to see this go lower going forward. They keep talking about tapering and interest rates on the rise because of inflation. Is the Fed behind the curve? Charts will tell you more than commentaries in the news. Learn to read charts first. I'll be here to help. You can reach me, the website cardwellrsiedge.com or direct at trader011@msn.com. I've been teaching for 40 years and 70% of my students have been referrals. So I want to help like a coach. The next few months are going to be rather interesting. I would say now to the end of the year. I'm still bullish on precious metals, on commodities. I've been watching stocks. They're a little toppy. I would say some people have told me they're a little cautious right now. There's a lot of people very nervous because we're at all-time highs. But I think commodities are going to be big in the move next going forward with the metals, the grains, coffee, sugar, cotton. So we are set up for an inflationary cycle. I don't even use that T word, transitory. You read what the chart shows you. In this case, everything's saying it's down, especially the range rules and the moving averages on close. Another one I want to look at is crude oil, or we'll take a quick look at the Dow too, and tell you why people are getting nervous. We're making higher highs, but we're not making much higher highs than we did back in May. And you can see again with those range rules, the RSI is not getting much above 60. So I'm watching that closely on the dailies. I'm also watching the weekly on the Dow because it is overextended. And it's got a simple, clean, bearish divergence pattern. I always talk about the tighter the signal, the bigger the move. This was 34,777. RSI was 74. And it was only, let me zoom in a little bit real quick. This is what I call my X point. It's a bearish divergence, but this is X, 1, 2, 3, 4 periods apart. This was set 34,756. It did not get above the previous high close. Now we're at 34,900 trading there today or this week. But we still made a lower high in the RSI. The RSI is only getting up to 65. It's not quite getting to 70. And I'm starting to see the moving averages turn down, which says we're at least overextended more so than we were at that X point. So this recent close we had a couple of weeks ago of 33, we'll say 33,300. That's the support level I'm watching, because if it goes below that, then chances are we're probably coming back to test at least 31.3 and 30,000. But it's going to be a sneaky move because it doesn't look like the sentiment is changing months. People are getting extremely over bullish, over excited over the move because it's not really, in my world, not really showing enough to get excited. Let's take a look at crude oil because I think that has just started a move that's going to take it a lot higher. I think we will break 75. I think we could possibly break 80 in the next month or so. Should we do that, it opens the door to about 100. So inflation, having an inflation outlook, crude oil was the last one to join this up move in inflation, but I think it's going to accelerate, especially if crude breaks 80. And I think it will. I think we've got a lot of support. This blue line is what I call my number. The green line is a 9, and the 9 has been above that number in these two bands that I use for a while. We could possibly be setting up today for another positive. That's at 72.13, which happened to be a target. It was one of my targets on the way up. And with a positive reversal, the way I used them, I set a target. It clears it on close, confirms it's still going. But when it sells off, it comes back to that target as support, which this did. And this would be 72.13. And where it's trading now, 72.70. So that says at a minimum, we're probably going to be 76.5. And then above that, probably 77, 78. So I'm still looking at the weekly or the longer term weekly projections up around 80. This weekly chart actually looks strong, very strong. All the action is above 60. And when you get the moving averages on RSI, like the 9 did back in January, crossed above that high line on the band on the bar chart, and the RSI moving average 9 simple went above 60. That says acceleration. And we can see what that acceleration was from 51 to over 75. Gold, still my favorite. I've been around gold since 1978 and saw it go from about 300 to 875. This weekly has tested the 60, backed off, and came very close to support at 1770 to 1760. When it come down to 1761 and the next low was 1750. So that 1770, 1760 is what I'm considering support on the weeklies. And we can see that that daily 9 on close has now gotten above my number. Price action, once we take out about 1880, 1890, we're probably going to take out 1950. We did the Dow. Coffee's still one of my favorites for the year, and it's turning more positive. RSI has only pulled back a couple times to just below 50 and turned up. We've had another positive with 147, 151. There's $400 added to 164. 168 to 170 is my next target on the upside. What was the other? Oh, the dollar index has had a rally. Now this is weekly and it's come up to my upper band in price, but we haven't gotten above 60 on a weekly. When I check the daily, that the 9's above, but we're starting to get that divergence to where it's multiple highs. First divergent high was from here to here. Then you had a very tight signal. Now sell off, then a rally back into a declining 9. So the 9 on RSI, the moving average, is serving as resistance. I'm not a candle expert, but the candles are starting to get a little wider. And I think we're going to probably see the thing work lower over the next few months. There was one Rachel asked about, JKS. I want to take a look at that. I'm not sure. I don't have my stopwatch going. I don't know how much time I do have. But she's not only a good producer, she's a good trader. She picked this one up and it's gotten stronger. So there's a daily JKS. Take a look at that chart because we can see that the 9 has crossed above the 60, the RSI is above it, and even the 45 period moving average is above 60. There was one other, for those, it's kind of crazy, but more and more people are talking Bitcoin, they're wondering when it's going to launch for the next big move. And I still see it down. I made a comment on my Twitter that I had 3 targets: 31, 29, and 26. And I think if it breaks 26, it has the potential to go down to at least 20 and possibly even 15. There's a lot of people that got burned buying the breakout back in May, thought it was going back up again. But you can see what I call my pivot point line and my 9 on close are still down. And let me see if I don't want to take that off. Up, fat finger. That's what I call my Chris value. When I started stayed with RSI for years, then I developed my own approach based on still the same formula, but just the way I do it, it's a little more sensitive with what I call the CFG. But the Chris is combining the moving averages of RSI and the moving average of my CFG to where I named it after my son, Chris, current health as a relative index of strength. And you can see it's this blue line. In that last rally, that big rally we had, it goes from +5 to a -5. Then I have a short-term version of it in green. And then I add the 2 together, which take me +10 to -10. But you can see it's all still below 0. That's the daily. The weekly, and the reason I wanted to cover crypto is had some stops and starts, but I think it's scaring people. And most of them are sitting on the sidelines, licking their paws because it gets painful when you lose money. This was all real strong on the weekly. And recently we've crossed below the 0 line on Chris. We crossed below the 0 line in my power values. And adding the 2 together pretty much turned down right after the top, and they're still down. So if you're trading crypto, be very, very careful. Again, I'm here to help. For those who sent prayers and were saying prayers and sending their thoughts on my elbow surgery, it was not Tommy John surgery. I was never a pitcher. I was a shortstop and a center fielder. But surgery went well, got the staples out this week, and no pain pills. Doctor did a great job. So I'm here if you need another doctor, since you call me Dr. RSI. You want to have a checkup or just want to have a chat? Trader011@msn.com. Cardwell RSIedge.com is the website, and my Skype is Andrew RSI. And I would recommend that you go back and listen to the session I did recently with Bruce Frazier on power charting. Because when my favorite 3 methodologies, RSI, Elliott, and CFG, are all saying the same things, you got to look at it because they work very, very well together. And I've been around and seen a lot of technical tools. So with that, I'll turn it back over to our producer, Rachel, and say thanks for being here. I'm glad we had the opportunity to catch up on a few things with 2 words: be careful.
Hey, Grayson Rose here with StockCharts. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed that video. If you did, consider giving it a like down below, maybe leave us a comment, and if you're new to the channel, you can subscribe at the link up above. We're gonna bring you daily content from an incredible collection of technical analysts and financial experts.